good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. As I indicated right before we left off to the break, we're going to chat more about that project impact with the technical advisor for the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Miss Natasha Second. Good morning, Miss Second, and welcome back to Tobago Updates. This morning we're talking about the project impact and the accelerated learning program. Tell us, I gave the audience a bit of a background before the break, but tell us about where project impact is now, because I believe that what I indicated was the initial start, the conceptualization of what project impact is, but so much has been done since that.
Yes.
So tell us a bit more about where project impact is right now.
So good morning, Shenell. Good morning to all of the viewers. Project Impact is in the process of the third year. So we are at cycle 3. When we began, it was in response to the learning loss that took place during the pandemic and so on. But we were able to actualize the accelerated component this year. So we have one center completely devoted to the accelerated child, from standard 2 all the way up to standard 5. And we have in the east, that's the Buku Government Center, that's completely devoted to the accelerated student. And we have in the east, Roxborough Anglican School, where we have 2 cohorts. We have the remedial cohort, but we also have the accelerated cohort to facilitate children who are in that east north side area so that they could be accommodated there. So we have 11 centers operational this year. Those 2 centers that deal with the accelerated, and everybody else focuses on bridging that gap for the remedial student. We would have expanded because we went down in terms of the levels that we were accommodating. So kids from standard 2, standard 3, all the way up to standard 5 and first form can find something to do in our program. We're looking at not just literacy and numeracy, we do life skills training, we do agriculture, different technical vocational skills, culinary arts, etc. And the key thing is the joy of learning. We are having a very positive response from staff and students alike, so it has been going well and students are walking in daily.
Right. So is it a situation where persons can still register for the program, and how far into it are you right now?
Right. So this is the 2nd week. So we have 2 more weeks to go. We're going to close off at on Friday, the 15th of August. So there's still much to be done. As I said, we have different facilitators and different tutors doing different levels of programming. So we have physical education, etc. No matter what period in time the child joins, the child will be exposed to the assessments for literacy and numeracy, and they will have some level of adaptation for their particular learning styles and learning skills, so they will get something. So even now, we do welcome children walking into any one of the centers, and we have 11. I could just repeat where they are. In the east, we have Speyside Anglican, Roxborough Anglican, Goodwood Methodist. To the north side, we have Castara. West side, we have St. Andrew's Anglican, Scarborough RC, we have Patience Hill Government, Montgomery Government, and we are focusing on the remedial child at every level and the accelerated child.
All right, excellent. And we see some pictures of our kids being engaged here.
Yes.
No, so you're saying that parents can just basically dress their kids and just send them off to the center, and they can begin being a part of the program.
Yes, indeed. And we can have them there from 8:30 a.m. The center manager will record all of their biodata, etc., give them their little assessments in literacy and numeracy, and then place them in the appropriate program. So if your children are having fun, they're fully engaged, it's a very experiential kind of constructivist approach to learning, and we're doing all of those Tobago-centric values. We're trying to use content that is appropriate to the Tobago child. So you see, we have music, we have dance, we have drama, we have culinary arts in terms of them doing a little chow challenge, making sandwiches, learning how to set the table, and so on. So it is a fun-filled series of activities, and we know that learning is taking place because we have weekly forms of assessment so that the kids don't even recognize it's assessment. They're just having a good time, making friends, and they're building that bond. And you see, we have our male teachers there. I try to ensure that every center had a male teacher or a center manager.
Excellent. And is it that even while the kids are making the chow and making other things that your learning is being incorporated, like let's just say the numeracy skills are being incorporated into that. So they would have to learn how to measure what's a half cup and all of this while they are, doing this thing. So it's not that they just come in and make chow or come in and learning to bake or come in and, so tell us about how you have decided to incorporate that literacy and numeracy into doing those everyday Tobago-centric things.
That is the perfect and the ideal opportunity actually to learn literacy and numeracy. Literacy is not just an isolated subject. It has relevance and it fits into our context. So exactly like you're saying, how many liters of things do you have to divide up to ensure that you can feed 20 people with X number of chow or sandwiches or so? How are you going to prepare for it before? How do you keep the place tidy before, after? Not just your counting, your ability to read your ingredients, your ability to comprehend what you're reading. So it's not just recognizing words, but comprehending the words. So when we did the assessments in the beginning, we would know exactly where a child is. So you might have a child, the child is physically in standard 3, but the competence level is really somewhere down in first year or so. And we actually, because it's a summer program, we have that liberty to move that child into that area. And so that child becomes happier and more confident and to builds up that efficacy. And then you could place them back into the appropriate standard 3 classroom come September morning. So the literacy and the numeracy are incorporated in the music, the counting of the notes, in the drama, the dance, in everything. And of course, you link it to real jobs that they can have later on in tourism, in fishing. You see all the children happy? Totally happy and engaged, and they learn respect and manners. You don't have any disciplinary problems because they bond with each other and with the teachers. And teachers also get to have some fun, remind themselves of the days when they were in teachers' college, learning to love education. So we're looking forward to it having a really positive impact on the September term.
Right. And tell us about the expansion of this project, because everything that you said that you are trying to accomplish with this project, I mean, realistically speaking, 4 weeks may not be enough to attain that goal. So what is the plan to expand? Because I know there have been conversations about incorporating that remedial education into the regular curriculum. So explain to us how that is going to work. If that's a future initiative, if it's something that's coming on stream from September, when can we see this happening?
Project Impact is one component of a series of activities and policies that are being used by the Division of Education to improve quality education, which is one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So it is one component. What it does is it inspires other forms of policies. So we have other policies that we're going to utilize in September, like the curriculum unit is going to be doing a full-time, the focus is going to be on literacy and numeracy. So in the daytime, during the regular school hours, there will be an emphasis on the application of literacy and numeracy throughout the system. We are also looking at developing the Tobago-centric curriculum to the point where we can integrate Tobago content into the teaching and learning. We're going to be producing LETT. Somebody's going to come from curriculum and discuss that a little bit more about how we're going to integrate more literacy and more numeracy in the actual classroom. We're going to expand in the evening classes, and we're going to extend to our community level impact, where we are going to reach the parents in the communities. I've been saying that the school, particularly in the rural areas, is going to be the catalyst for our socioeconomic development as an island. And so we are going to be focusing on the benefits and the lessons that we've learned from projects like Project Impact and push it out into the community for the adults themselves to have the opportunities to advance.
All right, and so is it that when it comes to adult literacy and training, that the schools are going to be used on evenings to facilitate those classes for adults? And then the question stands, how do we get adults who struggle with literacy and numeracy to even want to become engaged with these type of projects? Because, the research shows that persons who do struggle with literacy tend to have a certain level of shame connected to it, especially when they are in that adult age. So what is being done? What type of campaigns do you plan on initiating to really get persons engaged?
We start by deconstructing the shame, and that deconstruction is happening now. At Goodwood Methodist, for instance, a number of the parents are involved in creating and adapting the curriculum with the children and with the teachers. They have been invited and they come in. You deconstruct it because you take away the sense of what is dunce and what is dumb and what is silly and you recognize the person and the value of the person. And they get excited to learn something new because they are around everybody who is learning something new. So the key is deconstructing dunce, yeah, deconstructing disability, making people understand that we are all coming from somewhere and have to learn something from each other. So somebody who is not as academically embellished as me or you, they have something else. They have a different kind of skill, and we share. You teach me and I teach you.
Right, but Project Impact does not only impact students, but it also impacts teachers, giving them an opportunity to do much more. Now, the minority leader during, I believe it was the budget debate, had a lot of negative things to say about Project Impact. What is your response to the negativity that comes from the project that he would have highlighted?
Right. So a leader, for me, the three components of a good leader are to be able to see a vision, have a vision and articulate it, be intrinsically motivated and have courage. You must have naysayers. Any project that you are going to see resulting in socioeconomic development will come with barriers and restrictions and persons who fight against it. Politically speaking, he has to fight against it. He has to resist it, because the legacy that his side would have left, his administration would have left, would have been a legacy that at the end of the day had about 12,000 persons in the THA incapable of doing anything beside a daily rated work. That is part of a legacy and inheritance of an education sector. If our approach is focusing on improving education and educational capacity, then you must fight against that if you're from the opposition side. But we don't want to be too distracted by the naysayers. A number of the persons who were naysayers in the first year of Project Impact are fully integrated now and are running with it because they understand the vision, they saw us continue, and now we have all of these wonderful results, not just at SEA level, but in the actual program itself. So he's doing his job. He's supposed to do that. He's supposed to fight down everything that the current administration puts forward. And all we have to do is continue to succeed. Nothing succeeds like success.
Right. And tell us about some of the past success stories that has come out from Project Impact that you believe is important to highlight.
Right. To me, the biggest thing is joy of learning. It changed the perspective. It changes the perspective of both the teacher and the student and everybody who is related to the student, the parents and so on, about the ability of the child to learn and the ability of the teacher to deliver whatever they need to deliver. We began as a division the academic year understanding that if we focused only on the best performing student at SEA or at CSEC, then the majority of the children would not get the opportunity to have quality education. So we changed how we were going to approach celebrating the school. And so our focus is now on the overall school and ensuring that every school the children perform above the national means. What we have seen is now that shift in focus and that kind of paradigm kind of shift in the minds of the teachers and principals, so that they are pushing the whole school. Once the whole school moves, we're going to continue to see the kind of progress that we have seen in the last SEA results.
Right, and because previously you would highlight the school where the
top student,
the student that did the best in Tobago came from. But now you are looking at the mean or the average performance of the students within the entire Standard 5
exactly
of that school. And that is how you're going to rate the top performing school, not by the top performing students, because a lot of the time you realize sometimes schools get credit for what parents have to do at home. You know, we call it burning the midnight oil, and then you have a school that is being rated as the top school when the rest of students within that Standard 5 did not even perform near the performance of that top performer. So when we look at the top performing school, is it that we're trying to utilize the strategies of that particular principal to implement or to advise other schools?
One of the things that we're looking at is an accelerated learners policy. We have had schools and principals who have performed exceptionally well. The whole school has always performed above the national mean. And so we will incorporate them and integrate them so that they will pass on those practices to help us to standardize our levels of accountability and teacher leadership. So yes, we are going to engage the top performing principals in terms of the ones whose whole school have been performing exceptionally well over the years. What we are also going to do is build up the efficacy and the accountability of the principals in the schools that have been performing closer to the bottom. So it's not a punitive situation, it's a nurturing and a hand-holding and a lifting up, so that we are all accountable and we can all improve. Because one of the things that is very clear coming out of something like a Project Impact is that once you give persons who do not usually have that sense of confidence and efficacy and opportunity, and you give them the tools, they will rise to the occasion. So our ambition is to have every school in Tobago, early childhood, primary and secondary, recognizing the importance of each child developing, each child learning and building up the entire school. And therefore we will build up the entire education sector in Tobago because our numbers are relatively small.
Now, let's be real. There are a number of projects that have happened in the THA where persons are complaining about being compensated. I can't stand up here and not ask, when it comes to the compensation for Project Impact, for all the individuals at the community level, at the teaching level, whether it be caterers, whosoever shows up to be a part of the program, can they be guaranteed that they would be compensated within a reasonable time frame?
But of course, we have concept budgets. Our workman is worthy of his hire. This is a professional organization, a professional institution, and persons are afforded a stipend. At the national level, Minister Gatsby Dolly has just declared that she spent $9 million on their vacation remedial program this year, the year when we had the pandemic, and most persons were looking to reconstruct that learning loss. It's $50 million that they would have spent. When the funding came during the mid-year review, and the Ministry of Education was afforded quite a large sum of money. We don't know if any of the votes are increased for Tobago, so Tobago has to invest. We have to prioritize. We have to understand the importance of teaching and learning, and we have to prioritize. And teachers who come out, and caterers, and persons who produce booklets, and persons who produce resources, they have to receive the stipend. Laborer is worthy of his hire.
Right, and we wanted to make sure we put that out there because I think a lot of persons now, are very hesitant, because of the wait time with the public sector when they are doing business, specifically, service type businesses. So you are now ensuring them that although the resources may be scarce, you are doing all that you have to do as you are the project manager for this particular project to ensure that the people get their money.
Yeah, and this is year 3. So I've done it year 1, year 2, year 3. We manage what we have to do. We have our concept budget, we do our status reports, and then we ensure that, all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed, so people are properly compensated in due course and in due time. Proper time and proper compensation.
Excellent. I mean, well, then the Division of Education, Research and Technology is really doing their thing when it comes to this Project Impact. And we want to commend you for the work that you have been doing over the past 3 years to accelerate this program and to move it from what it was in the beginning to what it is now. Now, as we wrap up this morning's discussion on Project Impact, is there anything that you want to say to parents out there to encourage them to get their kids involved in this summer program? Now, you indicated that the program is for students from Standard 3 all the way up to Standard 5. So tell the Bigonians why it's important for them to be a part of this.
The program is an extensive and comprehensive one. The students are having a good time. They're enjoying building their relationship with their teachers. So this is the place to be. We already have enrolled 545 students this year at our 11 centers, and we are welcoming you and your child to come aboard. We are also looking for you to participate by ensuring that if they ask you for volunteerism, you show up and you do your part. Come, our doors are open.
And you are very, very proud of the number of students who are enrolled, I can see, and I can
very
tell.
proud. I'm proud.
They're proud. Good to hear that. Now, thank you so much, Ms. Second, for coming on this morning. And we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to continue with a lot of our conversation. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy.
Coconut Cafe, the buffet restaurant